Marinating a meat in wine does three things. First of all, the wine imparts its own flavor. Second of all, it helps break down tough meat fibers. And third of all, I believe the marinade helps keep a lean meat moist when you grill it. One of the most frequently asked questions on the barbecue board is, how do you grill wild game? Our friend Jeff Klock, who runs the behind-the-scenes kitchen here at Primal Grill, went out and got a beautiful elk loin. But don't worry if you can't find elk. I'll show you how to make this dish with a perfectly tame beef tenderloin. First, the elk. Take a look. You can see it's a beautiful dark red meat. You can also see it is completely lean without the slightest marbling. The trick to grilling any sort of wild game is to figure out a way to put some fat back into it to keep it from drying out on the grill. Both an elk and a beef tenderloin will have a tough silver skin on the outside. The first thing you want to do is, using a little paring knife, you want to just trim it off the meat. The elk loin has already been trimmed. Now the marinade. First, our old friend juniper berries. Next, allspice berries, black peppercorns, chopped fresh rosemary, finely chopped onion, a couple of smashed garlic cloves, lemon zest, that's the oil-rich outer rind, extra virgin olive oil, and about a cup of your favorite dry red wine. Stir the marinade ingredients to mixed, then pour them over the elk and beef tenderloin. And you can see we have our elk and beef in a pan over ice. Whenever you work outdoors, keep your meat cold. Marinate the meat in the refrigerator for at least 4 hours or as long as overnight. The longer, the richer the flavor. Meanwhile, let me show you a cool grilled wild mushroom side dish. These are oyster mushrooms and cremini. At other times of the year, you might use morels or hen of the woods or even lobster mushrooms. Arrange the mushrooms in a grill basket, and what you want to do is brush the tops with garlic parsley butter. The recipe will be on our website. Then all you need to do is close the grill basket, and you just fasten the two sides by sliding down the clip. Back to the elk. Here are some tenderloins I marinated earlier. What you want to do is take the tenderloin, blot it dry, and lay it on a couple of strips of bacon. Now, you remember I said there were two ways to put moistness in a wild meat like elk. One is to use a marinade. The second is to wrap it in bacon. And you see I put some string underneath. We loop over, 1, 2, and it's our old slip knot. Here's what the elk tenderloin looks like tied up. I'll do the same thing for the beef. I'm using a wood-burning grill to grill the elk and beef tenderloin. Add your sticks or logs to the fire, and you always want to use a hardwood, oak, mesquite, fruit wood like cherry, never a resinous wood like pine or spruce. Okay, and as we always do on Primal Grill, we keep it hot. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Keep it clean with a few swipes of our grill brush. Keep it lubricated with a folded paper towel or an oiling cloth dipped in vegetable oil and drawn across the bars of the grate. Just take the beef tenderloin and place it on the grill grate. The way you control the heat is either by raising or lowering the grate. And notice these V-shaped grill bars. They help drain the fat into this drip pan so you don't get a lot of flare-ups. Now we'll put on the elk. Cooking time for the tenderloins is about 3 to 5 minutes per side, 12 to about 20 minutes in all. Once the tenderloin's browned on one side, turn it over. And we'll do the same thing for the elk loin. And what I did is I drained the marinade off and boiled it down to use it for basting. Now, why do you want to boil the marinade? Well, anytime you've had raw meat in a marinade, you want to boil it to make it safe. The aroma is really incredible, and the juniper just leaps out at you. So what this does is just one more way to keep that lean meat moist. And while we're at it, let me show you the mushrooms. Grill basket may seem like a somewhat esoteric tool in North America, but as you travel the world's barbecue trail, actually in dozens and dozens of countries, the grill basket is what is used for grilling. You'll find a trough of coals, it's called a mangal, in Russia and in the Middle East and throughout Central Asia. And instead of having a grill grate on top, you actually just place the food with the basket over the coals. How do you know when the tenderloins are done? Well, you can use the poke test, and when they feel gently yielding, that would be medium rare. Or you can be scientific about it, use an instant read meat thermometer. You're looking for 125 degrees for rare meat, 145 for medium rare. Take the tenderloins off. And of course, you never want to cut into meat hot off the grill. Always let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes. The meat will relax, you've heard me say it before, and you can tent the meat with foil to keep it warm. All right, let me get the mushrooms. The meat is ready for carving. And you'll notice we always try to use a different cutting board for carving than for working with raw meat. Don't forget to snip off the strings. We'll put the beef on the platter whole. Let's cut into this elk, see how we did. Look at that, a beautiful and perfect medium rare. I guess we got lucky. You know, elk, like all wild game, is an incredibly healthy meat because it's so lean. And last of all, some of our grilled mushrooms. The nice thing about grilling the mushrooms this way is they get crackling crisp. Almost like a mushroom-flavored potato chip. To serve with the elk, a traditional South African sauce called monkey gland sauce. It's made with chutney and red wine. And don't worry, folks, there are no primate parts in this. The recipe's on our website. Let's see how we did. I'll take a piece of elk and a mushroom. That is incredible. The juniper and wine flavor really come through in the elk. I'll try a mushroom here. You know, a mushroom soaks up the garlic and parsley like a sponge. So now you know the secret of taming game on the grill.